So it's time for us to pull the punches no longer. A gaming PC versus a console. There is one side that the console absolutely fails at, and that is mostly in the software perspective. Now, it's not as if the console hardware is not capable of running some apps that we're going to be looking at today. It's that the software locks it away from doing so. This is the challenge that you face. In fact, if we look at, say, in terms of, capabilities, the capabilities we're usually talking about include running apps like Blender, include running apps like Unreal Engine, where, the person who owns a PC like this may want to delve into game development, may want to do some really cool stuff. However, if they have a console, they don't necessarily, have any prospects with that. In fact, they are blocked away from such prospects. This PC that I built for $650 has the capability of doing a lot of this stuff and much more. In fact, let me even, put my, some of my students, on the limelight. I will not reveal their identities because they're minors. Many of you know I teach middle schoolers, and I've been teaching them computer applications. And some of them have actually been delivering some really cool stuff. 13-year-olds actually representing one of my 13-year-old students. I think she may be 14 or so. Designed this really cool cereal. Donut. That's a cereal. This box of donuts from a donut tutorial that I actually assigned them to kind of learn the basics of Blender. Some of you may know this donut tutorial. If you go on YouTube, you're gonna maybe if you look up donut Blender, there's a gentleman who's been teaching how to make the donuts for years. One of his students even snuck in a donut into the movie, I think Anywhere, Any Place, Anytime or something, because that's how popular his donut tutorials were. It's basically made a lot of 3D designers in the world. And so this is just one, of the many projects that, my students have been doing, but it would not be possible for them. And so now many of them who are looking from a commercial side of actually selling their skills, because that's what I'm teaching them. Like, hey, man, develop these skills, whether it be digital, whether it be manual labor, blue collar, whatever, so that you can go out there and be competitive. And these kids are gamers. This young lady is also a gamer. And so now she is never going to touch a console because she understands that she has the intersection of a tool at her hand and also a gaming device. Also, you can run a Unreal Engine like I basically just put out here. You can create a project for yourself. This Slate animation sample, I opened it yesterday. It's actually a big project, a free one that Unreal gave. I could try to open it here, but it is what it is. If it doesn't really open, that's fine. But I think all the shaders got compiled, pre-compiled, I think yesterday, because it takes a long time. This CPU, it's still a 6-core CPU. I mean, usually when you're running Unreal, you usually go a little harder in terms of your CPU, but this CPU is capable of also doing something like this, running a full-scale game engine and being able to provide you with a lot of really cool stuff. So this is not a competition anymore, because you can say maybe it's unfair, maybe it's a different system, but that's basically what we've been trying to set up here. One of my other students was being silly. He made like these what did he even do to this? He made like this weird cereal bowl with like these shiny pebbles in there and this oversized spoon. This is a 13-year-old kid that's able to do this, and this is a skill that they can monetize. So again, from the parent kid perspective, if a parent said, okay, if a kid maybe moved up to a parent and say, hey man, I would like to have a PC so that I can get the best of both worlds. Let me turn off what's the name? MSI Afterburner. I would like to get the best of both worlds. Can you hook me up with a gaming PC or a PC of this sort? I've seen a lot of people say things like, "Well, the average person doesn't know how to do this. The average person can't do that." And I teach some of my students even how to build their own computers. I know high schoolers of mine, which they were in middle school. They got to high school in their ninth grade or whatever, and they've already built their computers. I know some that are already in sixth, seventh grade that build their computers themselves, watching YouTube videos, and they figured it out. Legos are basically a thing for a lot of young kids, and building a PC is almost akin to that. So many of them can actually take those skills and actually implement it to just put this 7, 8 components that you need to actually build a PC together. And so, yeah, this is something that a PlayStation 5 nor an Xbox Series X, is allowed to do and can't do. They can't do it because their software locks them out. The Windows that you have on your Xbox Series X is a customized version, and so it won't let you do many of these things. I'm sure if Microsoft decided to open it up, you could do that, but you're also limited to that Windows platform. Whereas here on a PC, you can go Linux, you can do whatever you want. You can build a Hackintosh, which is basically a Mac that doesn't follow the hardware of Apple itself. You can go ahead and get yourself some hardware together that's compatible with the Mac OS and do something like that. So the pipeline for game development is actually quite possible. For those of you who were asking me specifically about this one thing, the pipeline is basically from 3D modeling software into your engine and then basically going to render. And in order for you to be able to build the game, you can pretty much take the level or maybe the entire game, you can hit build, and then you can pretty much either build all your levels or you can basically build the whole project, to basically fit a specific let me say no to all. You can build to meet a specific platform. This is usually the beauty of being able to pretty much put a game together. And if you have, say, the API for PlayStation on your engine or Xbox, you can build for them as well. This is where the PC becomes transcendent over a console, and the entry fee being less. And remember, again, I usually go with the perspective of, okay, if you're looking at, say, coming and making a game, if you're looking at, say, you want to do something like, okay, I'm going to build a PC that, does, A, B, C, or D, or, whatever it is, versus how much it's going to cost me to run a console. The answer is a very simple equation. That console is not going to be able to do what the PC has, access to. It's just not going to happen, right? And I remember that a lot of people keep making this argument. There's somebody who makes this argument constantly, saying, "Well, the average individual." I'm like, man, would you stop insulting the human race? The average individual is way more capable than you actually, give them credit for. And I think this is the biggest challenge here that we face. So again, here are the numbers. Here's my build paradigm. You look at it very carefully. You buy yourself whatchamacallit, you get yourself a PlayStation 5 in today's currency, $399. At the time I bought mine, $500. You pay for PlayStation Plus. Some of you, and this is PlayStation Plus basic, for running it for about 3 years nowadays. Some of you are paying for PlayStation Plus Premium, which is $17 a month, and you get a small discount. If you did that for a few years, do you know how much you would have actually put in Sony's pocket? With just a one-sided view with no perspective, and then your premium cost on games, you pay $10 to $15 more per game at launch on the consoles versus PC. I have my receipts. I paid more for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I said Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Well, the version I bought was the Xbox version. It was more expensive than the PC version by almost $20. Gotham Knights, the standard edition on console was more expensive than the deluxe edition on PC. And when you put that together, I ran my numbers. You're looking at somewhere from $800 to $900. And by the time you move it to 4 or 5 years down the road, you would have given Sony about $1,100 to $1,200. But somehow a $650 PC is rocket science when 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds are looking at YouTube and figuring this thing out. And some people come here and they just basically try to distort the truth. If you're a console player, like I've said this before, if you're a console player, I don't care where you choose to play your games, but at least there are people who are out here who are rethinking the process, who would love to basically make their way to PC. And they're the reasons I'm making this video. And this is where I think, that the console will never be able to touch, because you're in a locked ecosystem. You have no freedom. And if you ever decide that you want to do anything like photo editing or video editing or encoding or anything that requires hardware acceleration, for now, the consoles are not doing that. Neither would they want you to do that. Sony's not going to let you go put Windows on their hardware. You know what I mean? And Microsoft, would prefer that you go buy a PC separately with another Windows license to be able to do that. So let me get out of your hair. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Hopefully we can talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.